The purpose of the Beginner Crusader Guide is to provide you with a build and item recommendations that will reliably carry you through the pre-torment difficulties and get you into low torment farming, without requiring specific legendary or set bonuses. For the purposes of the demonstration, I have removed Paragon Points and high-level gems to simulate a beginner character. The build focuses on the dynamic between Blessed Hammer and Condemn, combining the circular destruction of the former with the vortex effect of the latter. Strive to open fights with Condemn Vacuum, drawing as many enemies as you can on top of you for maximum efficiency per wrath spent. Then begin the Blessed Hammer onslaught, clearing entire screens of enemies with the efficient Limitless rune. To balance the resource spending of this no generator setup, you will alternate Laws of Valor Unstoppable Force with Provoke. The combination of the two should provide enough sustain with the cheapest Crusader spender equipped. Akarat's Champion will temporarily boost both your damage and toughness, but with its low uptime in Bare Bones gear setups, it should be limited to important fights. An efficient farming build would be incomplete without mobility, so we also include Steed Charge as the most reliable movement tool of the class. Blessed Hammer is the primary damage dealer in the build, and it fits a beginner setup for several reasons. At the lowly 10 Wrath per cast, it is the cheapest spender of Crusaders, a factor of even greater importance when resource management and set bonuses are scarce. Second, it offers great mid-range AoE coverage with the Limitless rune. And Diablo being the AoE-centric game that it is, gives Blessed Hammer an edge over the single-target champ Shield Bash or the cone-shaped sweep attack. Finally, Blessed Hammer is the basis of a very competitive endgame playstyle with the Seeker of the Light set, and mastering the mechanics of the skill early will help you later on. Condemn is a Crusader mainstay when it comes to crowd control skills, featuring a reliable circular pull with the Vacuum rune. The agreeable 15-second cooldown will be reduced even further with proper gear rolls and gemming, ensuring it will be up for every significant fight. To maximize the control over enemies, practice and get a feel for the 3-second windup of Condemn. Vacuum will do 3 pulls in total, each with a wider range than the previous. Smart repositioning as Condemn is being cast will enable you to draw an entire roomful of trash. To mitigate resource costs and restore Wrath, you'll have 3 tools at your disposal: Laws of Valor Unstoppable Force, Provoke with 2 Scared to Run, and Akarat's Champion Prophet. Laws of Valor Unstoppable Force is a staple of the generally resource-intensive Crusader class. Its inclusion might raise eyebrows in a low-spending build, but the lack of a generator or significant legendary bonuses will take its toll, even with Blessed Hammer. The active part of the law will cut the wrath cost of all skills in half, ensuring you'll have enough juice to spam the hammers even in single-target situations where Provoke will underperform. The passive attack speed bonus is of lesser value in early gearing stages, but works well in parties and you'll grow to appreciate it in endgame setups. Provoke is a skill of manifold utility, and the only cooldown with built-in resource regenerations that Crusaders have. Part of its usefulness is found in sticking enemies to you through its taunt function, amplified further with the slowing effect of 2 Scared to Run. This rune also indirectly provides toughness by slowing the enemy attack speed and reducing incoming damage for a decent 4-second period. Finally, it will restore a base of 30 Wrath as well as 5 more for every taunted enemy, making it the perfect follow-up to a Vacuum that will instantly refill your Wrath bar. While its cooldown will be humongous early on, you can start including Akarat's Champion in your setups to get yourself acquainted with the staple steroid of Crusaders. The approach to its better uptime will vary between the endgame builds, but the trend to include it has yet to budge. And with good reason. It offers an inherent increase to your damage by 35%, 5 Wrath per second rejuvenation, and will skyrocket your toughness through the tanky Prophet rune, layering you with 150% additional armor and a cheat death. Mobility is not to be underestimated, as time spent walking from one fight to the next will quickly build up for the lumbering giants that Crusaders are. The mainstay for the purpose is Steed Charge, whose relatively long cooldown compared to its peers is somewhat compensated by the 3-second duration of the Endurance rune. This concludes the overview of the active skills. Now let us look through the passives. With the exception of finding a Johanna's argument early on, you should prioritize Heavenly Strength over Fervor, allowing you to wield a two-handed weapon in one hand and a shield in the other. This passive grants you the better two-hander damage range at no defensive expense, and the slower attack speed will result in better resource management. Finery is a fixture for Crusader builds, increasing strength by 1.5% for every socket on your gear, including weapon and jewelry. It amounts to a hefty boost of toughness and damage, with an assumed average of 10 sockets across a well-equipped character. To compensate for the gaps in cooldown reduction that starting Crusaders inevitably have, Long Arm of the Law and some modest cooldown reduction on items will solidify about 50% uptime of Unstoppable Force. This passive doubles the duration of active effects of laws, and in this case, the ease of resource management is well worth the slot. Alternatively, you could take a cheat death in the form of Indestructible, a staple for hardcore characters, but its presence should barely be felt in low torments. Finally, Blunt makes a natural fit in any Blessed Hammer-centric build. By buffing up your primary damage dealer with 20%, it adds more than an item's worth of skill percentage to your build. During the early gearing stages and initial torment progression, rare items and random legendaries will occupy the majority of your gear slots. As you gradually collect your first sets and key unique items, following the in-game comparison system and the stat priorities outlined below will result in a solid character for the first few torment difficulties. While the majority of gear will drop unpredictably from regular farming, certain items can be targeted through the completion of bounties. Reaper's Wraps are an excellent bracer option for beginner Crusaders, as resource management cooldowns take longer with suboptimal gear and no set bonuses. These bracers restore up to 30% of your Wrath reserves when you get healed by a health globe, allowing the control-heavy, mid-range playstyle to receive double benefits when picking up globes from defeated enemies. Luckily, these bracers are craftable, and the plan for their creation drops when you kill the Act 5 boss Malthael on any difficulty. Ring of Royal Grandeur is a legendary from Act 1 caches that reduces the number of set items required for set bonuses by 1. While it might not be immediately useful, obtaining powerful bonuses such as the 4 and 6 piece set bonuses of Seeker of the Light set as early as possible for a huge spike in character power is an opportunity you should not pass up. Bounty farming will be inevitable for crafting materials, so optimize your farming time and get this ring as soon as possible. The majority of gear will be found by random chance as you farm normally by killing monsters, opening chests and gambling at Kadala. While the list below is not exhaustive, these are some of the pieces to look out and spend blood shards for. Firstly, all the items that construct a set, like Seeker of the Light, including a helm, chest, shoulders, gloves, pants and boots. Also, individual armor pieces such as Hexing Pants of Mr. Yan, Cinder Coat and Obsidian Ring of the Zodiac that provide you with valuable legendary bonuses and synergize with numerous endgame builds. Weapons such as Johanna's Argument, Golden Lens and the Furnace. They either provide powerful elite damage bonuses or twist a potent skill into an even more powerful version of itself. Crusader Shields are just as important as their weapon companions, and easier to gamble for due to their lower price. Examples of signature shields include Guard of Johanna, Denial, the craftable Pyro Morella, Fridar's Wrath, and Unrelenting Phalanx. In most cases, these shields serve as a foundation of an endgame playstyle, and committing to one will spike your power greatly in the direction of that build. Your armor sockets should be taken up by the highest tier ruby gems you can afford at the time, while the helm is best filled by a diamond gem for a boost to cooldown reduction. The weapon is best fitted with an emerald. If you stumble upon jewelry with good crit stats and a socket, you can also start dabbling into legendary gems. At the lower gem levels, ones with individual damage procs like Gem of Efficacious Toxin, Wreath of Lightning and Pain Enhancer will yield the best results per gem level. With better gear, Crusader staples like Bane of the Trapped, Taeguk and Bane of the Stricken should take priority and be leveled as soon as possible, as they scale favorably with their levels and fit into several endgame Crusader builds. In the Paragon Points, max out movement speed to the 25% cap and spend the rest on strength in the core section. Adding to maximum wrath is up to personal preference. Prioritize crit damage and then crit chance in offense. All resistance followed by life percentage and then armor in defense. And finally focus on area damage and resource cost reduction in utility. And this is it for the beginner Crusader build. I will leave you with a couple of more minutes as I finish off this rift and show the gear used in the demonstration. I hope you enjoyed the guide, and if you did, I would appreciate your subscription to my channel. See me live at twitch.tv/thedeadset, talk to me on Twitter and Facebook that I link below, and I'll see you guys next time.
I'm returning to town.